We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Hamas on the ropes, Biden's approval rating drops, launching a new space plane, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The United States vetoed a motion on Friday from the United Nations calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The motion was introduced by the United Arab Emirates and backed by UN Security General Antonio Guterres, who urged members of the body's Security Council to approve the call. The motion was agreed to by 13 of the 15 Security Council members, with the United States voting against and the United Kingdom abstaining. The draft of the ceasefire had been co-signed by 97 other UN member states and comes as civilian casualties in Gaza continue to rise as Israel moves ahead with its bombardment of the territory. Civilian casualties are rising due to Hamas's using them as human shields, hiding military installations in civilian areas, and refusing to allow the civilians to flee the area. Additionally, Hamas has threatened to kill the remaining hostages it is holding. And meanwhile, heavy fighting has continued throughout the Gaza Strip as the battle between Israel and Hamas insurgents raged on. Israeli tanks fought their way into the center of Khan Yunis, the main city in southern Gaza, as part of a primary new offensive towards the heart of the Strip. Israeli warplanes continued dropping bombs on the area west of the Khan Yunis battle. The United States, Israel's primary backer in the fight, has provided more ammunition to its ally to shore up their offensive. Nearly 85% of Palestinians in Gaza have reported being displaced, and the United Nations has claimed there is no safe haven for them to flee to. There is no safe haven because other Muslim nations have refused to accept Palestinian refugees. Hamas fighters have been surrendering to the Israeli Defense Force in droves. President Biden's approval rating has hit an all-time low, and he trails former President Trump in a hypothetical head-to-head 2024 matchup. Trump leads Biden 47% to 43% in that hypothetical ballot between only those two candidates, and leads 37% to 31% in a hypothetical ballot with 5 independent candidates, according to the results of a Wall Street Journal poll released Saturday. The president's sagging numbers against Trump also come as voters gave Biden low approval marks, including only 23% of respondents saying Biden's policies have helped them personally, compared to 53% who say they have been hurt by the president's policies. About half of respondents said they were helped by Trump's policies when he was president, and only 37% said the former president's policies harmed them. Officials from the United States, South Korea, and Japan agreed Saturday to ramp up their combined efforts to stop North Korean threats from cyberspace. The agreement came during a trilateral meeting in Seoul between national security officials, just weeks after North Korea said it successfully launched its first spy satellite into orbit. The three allies had previously agreed to strengthen security ties, and the countries launched new trilateral initiatives to counter the threats posed by North Korea, from its cybercrime and cryptocurrency money laundering to its reckless space and ballistic missile tests. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told this to reporters after the meeting. The Biden administration told lawmakers that an average of 5,000 illegal immigrants are currently being released into the U.S. each day at the border, while there were over 670,000 illegal immigrants who evaded Border Patrol last fiscal year. In a briefing on Friday to the Arizona congressional delegation, House and Senate Judiciary Committees, and the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees, Department of Homeland Security officials told lawmakers that there were around 670,000 known gotaways at the border last fiscal year. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas had previously acknowledged that the number was over 600,000. If that pace holds throughout the entire year, that would be over 1.8 million illegal entrants in that time frame. The president of the University of Pennsylvania, Liz McGill, resigned Saturday after criticism of her handling of anti-Semitism on her college campus. McGill's resignation comes 4 days after bipartisan backlash of a congressional hearing on the issue of punishment for anti-Semitism rhetoric at Ivy League schools. During the hearing, McGill appeared to dodge the question of whether students who call for the genocide of Jews should face punishment, causing widespread anger. Her resignation also follows growing anger over her handling of protests on Penn's campus, along with accusations of mismanagement. She will remain a tenured member of Penn's staff. The chair of Penn's Board of Trustees, Scott L. Bach, also announced his resignation. There are questions about whether this goes far enough given the prevalence of anti-Semitism on college campuses, and calls are growing for the presidents of Harvard and MIT to follow her example. 500 Harvard faculty members, however, signed a letter defending anti-Semitism on campus. The United States military is slated to launch its secretive X-37B space plane on Monday. The unmanned vehicle is scheduled to lift off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center atop SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket, marking the first time the two craft will be used in conjunction. Once in orbit, X-37B will conduct experiments with space domain awareness technologies and investigate the radiation effects to NASA materials, according to the U.S. Space Force. Most of the details around X-37B's missions are not disclosed, so the exact metrics of the experiments remain unclear. It is also unknown how long this mission is supposed to last. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.